Welcome back to Jamie and Julia. I'm Jamie. This is not Julia. This is Julia. This is a lobster.
Oh! Bon appetit.
So I'm an ordinary dude learning how to cook and following along to this cookbook, Mastering the Art of French Cooking. From Julia Child. I open the book up, I pick a recipe, and I get to work. That is the name of the game. Today we're making something that I have been anticipating / dreading for a very long time. It's called Lobster Thermidor, Lobster Thermidor gratinade in its shell. So of course the big thing when you're cooking a lobster is that you have to keep it alive up until the point that you cook it. And then you're essentially like boiling it alive. And that doesn't sound all that humane to me, but on the other hand, I love to eat lobster and that's how you cook it. So, well, it's a dilemma, isn't it? Because I guess usually I just turn a blind eye to this sort of thing. But don't eat what you can't kill, sort of thing, right? So I read somewhere that if you rub it on the top of its like head here, it calms it down. Apparently these guys don't feel pain. Neurologically, there's just something in here that allows them not to feel it, which is great. Makes it easier, hopefully. Are you still alive with us now? Yes, you are. So if I lift him up, he's supposed to be able to do like a touchdown motion. Okay, so when he does that, it means he's still got life now. Good. He's supposed to do like a touchdown. Probably wondering, well, what kind of sex is this lobster, right? Well, there's a way to find out. These things on the tail here, swimmerettes, these ones are all the same. They're feathery and they're hairy looking, but they're all the same. Oh wait. This might be a male. There's two ways to cook a lobster. You can steam it, which is what the recipe says. I don't have the tools in this kitchen to do that. I don't have a steaming rack, so I'm just gonna nix that idea. I'm gonna boil this lobster. And Julia says just to dunk it into the water head first, upside down, and it will die instantly. But I'm reading contradicting reports online that say that's not the case. Actually, it takes up to 3 minutes for a lobster to die while it's boiled alive. So I'm going to put it out of its misery before I actually put it into the water. The water is to a rolling boil. I have delayed this long enough. It is time to kill this lobster. I gotta kill this lobster. Plunge the knife into... Okay, just make sure you're doing it right. It may be killed almost instantly just before cooking if you plunge the point of the knife into the head between the eyes. I can't do that. Take my knife and I'm gonna plunge it right into the head where there's like this open area. I'm gonna push down on it and then I'm gonna push upward. All right, so I have to put some weight into this. Okay. It's done. It's done. Lobster into the water. Lid goes on. Alright. Okay, so that lobster was around 1.5 pounds, which means I have to cook it between 10 and 12 minutes. Okay, now the lobster is done when it is bright red, and the feelers can easily be pulled from the sockets. So firstly, Julia says it's a good idea to drain it. So like poke a hole in its head somewhere. Sorry. I don't know. Don't need the feelers, sorry. It's safe now to take the rubber bands off. Okay, so very firstly, just to bring you up to speed, I was supposed to simmer this guy in a pot of wine, water, vegetables, herb, and seasoning, and bring that to a boil. All I did was use water, and then I added this guy into the boiling water. I just ignored all that because I was too focused on just getting the job done. So I'm going to move on to the next paragraph, which is while the lobsters are steaming, which it's already done, stew the mushrooms slowly in the covered saucepan. Okay, so I need mushrooms. So I'm gonna slice up just a handful of these guys, you know, like that. Not an intense heat. Tablespoon of butter, add the mushrooms, lemon juice, and salt. Because I didn't add all the stuff I was supposed to add into the water when I was steaming the lobster, which I didn't do, I don't have lobster steaming juices. So what I'm gonna do instead is add 3/4 wine and 1/4 of water into the mushrooms with salt, pepper. I'm just making this up. I'm gonna boil this down until it's around 400 milliliters or something, I don't know, until it seems right. I mean, it's cooking, right? It's subjective. If I'm reading this correctly, I'm straining the juices from the mushroom pan into another pan. And no word on what's going on with the mushrooms, but they do look tasty. I think I just keep this back on the stove. No heat though. Okay, great. Cook the butter and flour slowly together in a second saucepan. Second saucepan, 1, 2, 3 saucepans. Filling up over here. I think I need around 5 tablespoons of butter, but because it's just me and not 3 people, as the recipe is meant for, I'm just gonna use 4 tablespoons. Add around 2 tablespoons of flour, maybe a tablespoon and a half. Slowly cook that together for 2 minutes. And then once that's cooked together, add the other sauce I was working on, remember? Whisk that in. Boil it for a minute. And now I can take it off the heat. In all honesty, I do not know what this is. No idea. Leave aside and then film top of sauce with the cream. I don't know. If I add roughly a tablespoon of heavy cream, what does that do? Film top of sauce with cream. Oh, maybe I just like move it around on the top. What have I done wrong? Let's just move forward. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this aside and split the lobster in half. You're back. Okay, where's like scissors? These scissors are super handy for this. And then the other side. So in half. So I'm gonna take this one eyeball. Unfortunately, this has to go. Discard the sand sacs in the head and the intestinal tubes. Oh, there it is. Found it. Here's the intestinal tube. Okay, where the is the sand sac? Oh, maybe it's this. I wish there was some diagram for this. I think the sand sac is the stomach, which I have a feeling is this. Yeah, I don't want to eat that, so that's gonna go over there. Lobster, coral, and green matter. The green matter is gotta be the green matter in here. I'm gonna just remove this for now. So I will keep you here. I don't think I need that. The green matter through a fine sieve in a mixing bowl. Whoa! Into a fine sieve. There it is. So an egg yolk. Into the bowl. Half a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Roughly 100 milliliters of cream. Cayenne pepper, just a pinch. Boop, whoops. Way too much cayenne pepper. I'm gonna take the very confusing looking sauce that I made. I'm gonna add it drop by drop into this. Okay, a little bit more, a little bit more. And I think this sauce would just benefit from me passing this through a fine sieve. Just my non-professional opinion. Voila. Back to the heat it goes. So I'm gonna bring this sauce to a boil, if it can handle that. Add another 4 tablespoons of heavy cream. 1, 2, how did she come up with this stuff? And lastly, sauce should be thick enough to coat a spoon, but I can already tell that it is. A little bit more salt, pepper, the top filmed with another tablespoon of cream, whatever the hell that means. The butter is totally gonna separate from the sauce. I know it, I know it. The butter, oh, for sakes. It's like I added that last tablespoon of cream and all the butter just said, I'm not down with that, and separated. So now this sauce looks I add another tablespoon of cream, that fat content in that might bring it back together. I doubt it. Add a little more. Come on, come on, come on. Fatty content in this cream is helping stabilize this thing. But for how long?
is the question. For how freaking long? There's so much cream in this sauce. I'm gonna leave this aside. Get over here. The lobster. The cutting board has, okay, served its purpose. Maybe let's bring this thing in. Okay. Ugh. Remove the meat from the tail, the claws, and all these little guys here. Voila. Is that good meat? Nah. Aha. Oh, this claw has it all. I extracted as much meat as I could from the lobster. I'm, again, so sorry, but thank you very much for your service, and I'm gonna eat as much as I can from you. Here's the meat, so let me just reset. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut it up into little pieces. Hey, place the frying pan with the butter. Frying pan with butter. So I need a frying pan with butter. Why don't you just say that? A couple knobs. So I'm gonna melt the butter over medium heat until a foam begins. Add in the lobster meat. Ladybug spatula. Stir it into the butter. Stir this slowly for about 5 minutes till the meat has turned a rosy color. That lobster meat is looking pretty rosy. I'm gonna add in some brandy or cognac, whatever. Just, yeah. Shake it. Boil this for a minute or two until the liquid has reduced by half. I don't think that's gonna take long. Fold in the cooked mushrooms. We thought we forgot about you, but in you go into this. So 2/3 of this sauce that's kind of broken, but kind of not. Arrange the split lobster shells. What? No. Split lobster shells that I've already thrown in the garbage. Come back over here. Next up, you need to get the lobster shells, which I already threw into the garbage. Rinse them off completely, vigorously. It's like some coffee grinds in there, but it's gonna be fine. I hope we're almost done at this point. Remember what happened to me earlier when the butter separated from the sauce? Yeah, it happened again. So the sauce isn't as appetizing looking as it used to be. Honestly, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Heap the lobster mixture into the shells. I have way more meat than shell at this point because, well, you know why. I don't know. Why couldn't you just have kept the whole shell? Here he is. I think you're... Okay, I went into the garbage and found more of the lobster shell. Let me clean the shit out of this. And then this can just like... What the hell is this? Is this the... Doesn't matter what it is, just make it work. Okay. Oh boy. Cover with the remaining kind of broken sauce. Should have really looked at a photo of this beforehand. And some Parmesan cheese on the very top. Heat the oven to 425 Fahrenheit. So the baking dish is on the top rack of the oven and the heat is gonna right on top of that cheese, make it nice golden brown on the top, gratinade style. It's gonna take around 10 to 15 minutes. Oh. Some greenage, some lemon on top. Okay, we're ready. So of course it's delicious, and lobster meat is, as Julia Child says, lobster meat tastes like lobster meat. It's very special and a unique taste. Ooh, got a message. Now this recipe, I mean, it wasn't necessarily fun, and you know, I don't enjoy killing the lobster, but I like to eat lobster, and it's kind of a necessary thing that you have to do in order to eat the lobster. If you're up for the adventure of cooking lobster and then doing everything that I just did, and all the power to you. All the power to you. It's really good. It's got the very classic Julia Child kind of sauce on top of it, which is, it's like the signature sauce of the heavy cream and the butter. It's just like you have that blindfolded, you're just like, Julia Child. That's as far as I want to go into the sauce right now because, well, it's split, and you know it, and I know it. We don't have to talk about it anymore. I think I covered everything. I think that about wraps it up. I don't know, my brain don't work too good right now. Thank you very much for watching. This was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. Au revoir.